starts receiving calls from concerned citizens about a strange animal sighted at a neighborhood called geartron. Finally, at around 10 a.m., some firemen went down a hill in this neighborhood, as witnessed by over 2 people that were around the location at the time.
It was then that the people around were commenting that they had seen something different. When they went down, it was a matter of a few minutes, and people went up commenting, "Where did the fire department take
these people that told the fire department captured this creature?"
They said they had captured.
They saw it being captured?
They saw it being captured.
According to the witnesses, this would have been the place where it was captured.
A few minutes later, the fireman arrives at the top of the hill with the creature caught in a net. Arriving there, a military truck stops, and 2 men demand that the creature gets placed inside the truck. The fireman calls their superior, and they end up placing the creature in a wooden box and inside the truck. The creature then was sent to a military base nearby.
Here the fire department caught the first creature at around 10:30 a.m. Exactly in this place here, in this region. The creature was stunned. It was immediately placed in an armored truck.
In this street?
In this street. The truck was right here, and it went immediately to the city of Tres Crusoe, getting in a military base there.
So this creature, was it the first one?
That was the first captured creature.
When the firemen arrived at their base, they received an order to burn anything that got in contact with the creature. At around 2 p.m., another witness observes as 7 military get inside the forest, close to where the first creature was allegedly caught. He then hears shots being fired. A bit later, the soldiers emerge from the tree line holding 2 body bags, one immobile and the other still moving. It's important to note here that between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m., a very large storm hit the city with rain and hail. These are common summer storms that are quick but violent, and happen mostly around December and January. It's worth noting that it was the most violent storm until 2016. At 3 p.m., after heavy rain and hail, 3 girls were coming out of work, when they had the encounter of their lives.
I was going downhill here with the girls, us 3. Suddenly we looked over there, and there was this strange thing, round. It was really weird. We got so scared that we didn't just stand here observing it. And from here, we ran down there.
And when we were going downhill, we looked back and saw it there, and it was in the same position and hadn't moved. It had normal legs and arms, looking like a normal man. But when we looked at it, it wasn't a man. It had horns. It had brown skin, looking like it had some kind of oil on its skin, shot red eyes.
The body had large veins, just like it had fought. It had its veins all swollen.
His body. He was crouching with his hand between his legs.
If it was a man crouching, I would have had the courage to pass here. Us 3, we would walk away. But something that weird, we just didn't have the courage to do it.
According to the girls, this picture is a good approximation of what they saw. At 4 p.m., after her daughters arrived home crying, Louisa, the mom of the girls, goes back to check what did the girls saw at the time.
It didn't even go through our heads that it was a being from another planet. She said that she had seen that creature there. She arrived home crying, saying that it was the devil that they had seen. So, as I'm a very religious person, we are Catholics, I was very impressed by that. For them to stop crying, I asked for a ride in the truck of the lady from the store, and then went there to the place to check. Arriving there, Katya even went with me in the front, but she wasn't even managing to talk, crying a lot. I went down and went there. She said, "There, Louisa. It was there that we just saw it."
Who said that?
Katya. But she stood inside the truck. Then I saw, the only thing I can say to you, as I say in every interview I gave, it's the 2 very large footprints.
How large? Show me.
Like this. More or less like this. Like this, round, with a spike on this. One smaller and 2 larger ones. The smaller in the middle. And a very weird smell.
On her testimony, the things that are worth noting are the marking on the ground, and the strong smell of ammonia on the place. Adding to that, some days later, it is said that on the place that the girls had seen the creature, the grass got dry and died. At 8 p.m., 2 cops were inside a vehicle patrolling in the city. They were from the police intelligence, and were allegedly sent there to oversee the situation. Suddenly, they ran over something on a dirt road. As they went outside to see what just happened, they realized they just hit a humanoid creature. One of the cops, called Marco, gets the creature on his arms and transports it to the back seat of the car, and while doing that, he gets scratch on his arm. They take the creature to one of the city public hospitals.
She said that it really was in the hospital, but it had been transferred to another one. But she said that she couldn't see because it was with an oxygen tank. Didn't have any authorization, and even if she had an authorization, she wouldn't let me see it, because I would be very impressed.
21st of January of 1996. At approximately 1 a.m., whatever it is, gets transferred by an ambulance and a small military convoy. It goes to a private hospital called Humanitas. Chaos unfolds at the hospital, as authorities desperately isolate the area. One of the doctors that tried to save the life of the alleged creature, told later that it seemed to talk to him telepathically, sending him instructions on what to do. However, the creature ended up dying. 22nd of January of 1996. At approximately 6 p.m. of the 22nd of January of 1996, a heavily armed convoy prepares to take the dead creature from the hospital to a military base. Right before that, an observation of the creature is made by a doctor. What you are about to hear is the account of a military that was there at the moment.
Many medics were on the patio around the hospital. About 15 of them. They were all using some kind of surgical mask. And some of them had stethoscopes around their necks. Some military police officers were there along with some firemen. One of the lieutenants of the army was recording everything with a portable camera, while the other one was just taking notes. One of the officers got close to the creature and opened the small and thorned mouth, and using some kind of tool, pulled the tongue of the creature out. He seemed to be examining it. The tongue was black, long, and thin. And when he released it, it slunk back into the mouth. The creature had some sort of weird ammonia stench that was unbearable. It was about 1.6 meters in height. Big, weird feet in a V shape as well. The skin was very dark brown, and it looked like it had some kind of oil on it. The head was very big, bigger than ours. And the 3 protuberances on top of it, 2 small holes where the nose should be, and a tear in the place of a mouth. The eyes were big, enormous, and red. No pupils. The legs were short and slim, and the arms were slim and long.
Note that the description matches what the girls had seen 2 days earlier. Other factors such as the smell of ammonia were also noted by the military. All of the materials used inside the hospital in regards to the creature were incinerated. 23rd of January of 1996. At 4 a.m. of the 23rd of January of 1996, all the creatures were taken to Campinas, a city in the state of São Paulo. They were taken to a university called UNICAP. Army trucks and U.S. Embassy cars were seen in the campus. Allegedly, the creature was taken to the United States for studying. The aftermath. Now we will talk about what happened in the later months after these January nights. As the case was gaining traction, both the Army and the firemen refused to acknowledge any of the facts presented, even those that did not involve the creature, such as the heavy presence of the Army in the city in those days.
This week, the headquarters commandant of Virginia, Captain Alrenga, released an official note. It says that the fire department of Virginia was not called to capture an extraterrestrial.
Our job is related directly to things of the earth and Brazil. We don't want to get cases that are uncommon. We would hardly be able to have any reaction.
It is also important to note that all military witnesses that told the press or the ufologs what they had seen were found out and subsequently arrested by the military command. The death. Some days after being scratched by the creature, Marco starts showing an abscess on his arm. He goes at the military hospital nearby, and the abscess gets drained. At the 6th of February he was admitted into a hospital with pain on his back, which evolved rapidly to a paralysis. At the 15th of February, the policeman Marco died of an alleged systemic infection. The doctors did an autopsy, to which the result was only released years later. The alleged cause of the death was pneumonia. However, according to witnesses and his own sister, the 23-year-old policeman was healthy and in excellent shape. The second sighting. At the 21st of April of 1996, an elderly woman sights what seems to be another one of those creatures, inside the city zoo.
I was in a party at Paikere, in the zoo, and at 9 p.m. I went outside on the balcony to smoke, and the lights outside were all off, and the light came only from the party. Now, I was at the party, but I don't drink, and when I looked at my left side, I saw that very ugly creature. It had big red eyes, bulging, a thorn mouth.
What followed on the next few days were inexplicable animal deaths inside the zoo. The animals that died were in perfect health condition the night before. Autopsies revealed that hours after the death, one of these animals had highly advanced decomposition in the digestive tract. It's also important to note that although it was decomposing, there was no smell. The other 5 animals that died showed no signals of anything. The offer. On the 29th of April of 1996, a blue Lincoln stops in front of the house of Louisa, mom of the 3 girls. 4 men got out of the car and insisted on talking to her.
I received here in my home, as Ubirajara said, 4 men, but I don't know where they are from, who they are. I have never seen them. But I can't say who they are because I don't know them.
What did they
While I was in my room changing, Valkyria went outside, and they opened the door and got inside the house. Later I asked, "Who are you?" And they said it didn't matter who they were. That they needed to talk to me, and they got in and sat down. Then we heard the girls ask to get the details, as everyone asks. Asked the day it happened, what they saw, heard them. Asked them where I worked, the house was mine, the dreams of the girls, and the girls talked to them. They said that they were the gold mine, that they were the gold mine that they had never thought to find.
What do you think those men are?
I have no idea. She didn't get into the details, but I would like you to get into details for me to see the proposal they did to her.
What was the proposal? Tell me.
The proposal they did was this one. They asked me how much I earned, and what did I work, if the girls worked. They did know. I think they did know a little bit about our life, you know. I don't know. From what I could gather, then they said that they asked about the dreams of the girls, what dreams they had, if they wanted to study in a private school, got in details. Then he asked about me and all. I said I still have a very large debt to pay here from my house, that to this day we fight with life and I can't pay. And then he said, the thing about mine. Then he said that if I gave him my word, that I wouldn't tell anyone they were here.